couple different answers for part A. Well, as BCs, we're told that we are special a lot, which is kind of a confusing thing growing up, but it doesn't really make sense to us. But this gives us some perspective as to why we're viewed as special and where that comes from. Shows us the depth of the blessing. And learning more about it helps us think about how precious it was for our parents to join the church and how precious the blessing was to them. So it gives us some knowledge on our roots, and it's important to know where we came from. I have a lot of notes, sorry. Yes, it was the first step of victory. That's a point I liked. So for part B, it's kind of a confusing question, but I guess what they're more jealous of is the results of the 3-day ceremony, which, like, having a family, a healthy, happy family. So I've definitely had friends who were jealous of my family, or extended family that's jealous of my family. And we get that from 3-day ceremony, from the blessing, because our parents have that faith and that root. We have these beautiful families. And our answer for what do we do about a world that may feel jealous is everyone has to go through the same process. So everybody is going to go through this process and be restored. Amen. So it's okay.
Amen. Thank you. Yep. Next. Will be, no way.
Much enthusiasm.
Okay, so what we talked about pretty much for the part A, why should BCs who do not have to do a 3-day ceremony study it? We said it was more like, because it gives us a better understanding of like our foundation and like how we came from and like the process of restoration and how important that is, and like how it just gives us a better understanding how precious the blessing is in restoring our lineage, and yeah, pretty much that. And for B, we were saying, my little brother brought up an important point, was that people should feel jealous because it shows that they want to, and they want to have what we have, like the kind of restoration that we have and lineage we have, because our parents were able to do that and to pass that lineage on to us. And then another point that came up is that another reason they should feel jealous is because it's the most precious thing we have with the blessing, and the 3-day ceremony is part of that in restoring our lineage. And that's it.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, please.
Oh, I'm first. Okay.
I'm very happy. Yeah.
I'm going to start with B because we led up with B and go to A. Actually, for B, I think it's same as everyone is. We just concluded you can just do it for the 3-day ceremony. What it opened up, it's Mr. Clark said, it's a treasure. You know the towel we wash ourselves with, and it's a treasure. And knowing this, how can you teach it to your future generations or other generations? It's a blessing to teach it to the world, also spiritually and also physically. So we have to be like heavenly hosts in the end. And what really hit me was the tremendous hope from the 3-day ceremony. So even though how far you stray away from God, there's always a way to come back. There's like a small window there.
Amen.
So don't be ashamed. You can stop.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Bishop.
So we started off with A, and so yeah, we kind of discussed like as VCs, we don't really know much about the 3-day ceremony, and it's kind of something you don't really want to talk about. But after, I guess, hearing Kyunjin, we were better able to appreciate that like our parents had sacrificed everything joining the church, even the start of their marriage, they offered it to God. So we were asking them like, oh, how did it feel like after it happened? And they were like, so yeah, it wasn't really romantic, but after like they felt really accomplished. So I guess like it wasn't. It was just kind of amazing for me to hear that like my parents had literally offered everything, even like, yeah. So
Even sex.
yeah,
There you
that's
go.
that. Yeah. Don't want to say it, but yeah. Yeah, and I guess like even going back to the spiritual aspects, like it was the fall was a sexual act, so I guess to restore it, it actually has to be the same way to reverse it. So it's kind of amazing that you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
No, you know.
And like, I guess part B, I guess personally, I'm not sure if I would feel jealous about it, but I mean, I think, like they were saying before, the result.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay, our group started with question A on why should VCs do a 3-day ceremony to study it. So we shared that it was the value of the blessing, restoring the fallen lineage, and then also understanding the foundation our parents set for us, sacrificing everything for us. And was part B, what do we do about a world that may feel jealous that our parents had a 3-day ceremony and was able to pass God's lineage on to you? Well, in our group, we bought that they hopefully that we are witnessing to them, and so they know about the 3-day ceremony, and that they if they're jealous, knowing that they can first understand the value of the blessing, and then they can be blessed too.
Amen. Thank you. No more? Or one more, yes.
Okay, so we had lots of stuff we talked about, and I'll talk about B. Talked that if the outside world feels jealous about our 3D ceremony and that they were able to pass God's lineage into their descendants, that we should bring them, teach them, introduce them, and maybe bring them to the church, and they will be able to perform it themselves, so they can become of God's lineage, and they can understand true relationship between each spouse and with God and with other people. Just like Pastor always says, relationship more than religion. And we can just make them more jealous, so they come jealous and compel them to come with the prospect of having a really great, happy family based on God without any trouble or not without any trouble, but like not with the small problems anyways. And like these days, a lot of Satan's like not of God's lineage people, they break up families a lot because of petty stuff. And if they learn to do the 3-day ceremony and become God's lineage, then they won't have that problem. And if they're jealous, they probably would want to fix that anyways. That's the point, that they're jealous, so they would want to perform it too. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. All right. Yeah, how was the last session? Was it good?
Yeah.
I mean, so personally for me, yeah, as a second generation, honestly, 3-day ceremony is like kind of another world. It's not this world. When I was in the army, because Korean male, you have to go to the army for 2 years and off. Yeah, I had to fill it out the form, the application form, and I wrote it down, my religion as a Unification Church. Then, wow, this amazing thing happens. I had to give a Divine Principle lecture like for about 2 months. So every night, just all the higher sergeants and troopers, they're just wondering what unification is. They don't know. I mean, they've heard about Unification Church, but they've never met anyone who go to Unification Church. So yeah, I was kind of a toy for them. They just put the quarters and then asking and I answer it. And yeah, everything was fine except one. I don't know how they knew about that. They asked me that 3-day ceremony. Wow. Okay, so that moment I knew how to do it. Yeah, so I explained with confidence. Yeah, I know how to do it. And half an hour explanation. After that, I felt like, okay, so how to do it means, yeah, it's pretty much about sexual relationship. That's all. If we don't know the meaning of the 3-day ceremonies, that's it's a half. And I couldn't explain another half. So they feel like, okay, that's what is so special for Unification Church members. So that moment was kind of the most awkward moment as a Unificationist. So since I heard from Hyungjin's lecture, wow, that was kind of new world. And I strongly felt, yeah, that's why, sometimes we have to know. It's not enough how to do it, but why to do it, the meaning of everything. So as a second generation, of course, I didn't have to do the 3-day ceremonies, but I'm so happy, and I think I'm so blessed to be here and to this really all about the 3-day ceremony. And now at least I can explain if I see anyone else from my. I'm actually one of the surgeon. He was so interested in our church, and also of course he was the one who asked me the 3-day ceremony. And actually after he finished his military, he visited the church and he got blessed. That was amazing. So we can think of it like tiny piece of something, but not really. Everything related to God and Father that could be save one's life. So that was amazing story about the 3-day ceremony. So yeah, I hope everyone here can get a nice picture from this session. So I guess we are ready for lunch, right? Yeah, so before we go to have lunch, I think it's better to pray here and go and have lunch. So anyone who feels to give a prayer,